The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. At that time, Jesus said to his disciples, "If your brother sins against you, go and tell him his fault between you and him alone. If he listens to you, you have gained your brother. If he does not listen, take one or two others along with you, that every word may be confirmed by the evidence of 2 or 3 witnesses. If he refuses to listen to you, tell it to the church. And if he refuses to listen even to the church, let him be to you as a Gentile and a tax collector. Truly I say to you, whatever you bind on earth shall be bound in heaven. Whatever you loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven. Again I say to you, if 2 of you agree on earth about anything they ask, it will be done for them by my Father in heaven. For where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, there I am in the midst of them." The Gospel of the Lord. It is good for us to remember this scripture today, Matthew 18. Yes, I wonder how many of us can remember when we were 18. Matthew 18, verse 15 to 20. It's about correcting our brothers and sisters. And I wonder how often we blame others for things that we could have corrected ourselves, but we were too scared. We see things that are done wrong, but because we want to save face, because we want to protect our own safety, we keep quiet. And so then we say, oh, well, it is up to Father to deal with that issue in the parish. It is up to the pastoral council to deal with that issue. Or it's up to Cyril Ramaphosa, or it's up to somebody else. But we seem to neglect that we are called to be the first ones, according to this gospel today, to correct our brother who is wrong. And if I can do it and should do it to those in my immediate vicinity, to follow this strictly, and if we all did it amongst those who were in our immediate vicinity, we would not have the corruption that we have now. We wait for the courts, we wait for the leaders, where we have a far more important task to do. We stand back and we wait for others. The result is our own chaos. Let's look at one of the first martyrs in Africa. His name is celebrated today, is Isidore Bakhanya, from the Belgium Congo in the 19th century. A young boy who was converted, the first one in his family, to Catholicism, to understanding Jesus Christ died for him and loved him. This young boy then went and worked on a rubber plantation. And he would continue, he wore his scapular, and he would pray when he needed to pray, and he worked as hard as anybody else. But those who were in charge of him did not like what he was doing. They did not like to see, even though he was working hard, somebody who would pray. And in his praying and wearing his scapular and living a good life, he was slowly getting other slaves to see the beauty of what he had in his heart. this great love for God. And so eventually the slave owners beat him so badly that he had to crawl away into the forests. And when one of the inspectors came to inspect the plantation, he crawled out with 2 sticks because he couldn't walk, he'd been beaten so badly. The inspector said, no, he needs to go to another plantation just to avoid the scandal. All this young man had done is pray and wear a scapular. And this man, through his actions, is a saint today because he stood up. You and I, we have religious freedom in this country. How often do we really stand up? Or are we continually waiting for somebody else to stand up to fight our own battles? Well, the scripture is very clear today. If I see something that is wrong, I have the responsibility of standing up and going to that person first, the person who I see with my own eyes, on my own. I go to that person and say to them, what you're doing, my brother, my sister, is wrong. And I want you to know that to take money that doesn't belong to you is wrong. For you to swear and have racial language on your lips is wrong. For you to drive badly and to drink and drive is wrong. To gossip about people is wrong. If I am not doing it, how dare I criticize others who are not doing their job? Because I haven't started to do it within my family. And we can do it with love. Great love. We don't have to judge. We don't have to condemn. We just have to say, what you're doing, my brother, my sister, is wrong. Not because I'm a perfect person, no. When I'm wrong, I expect somebody to come to me and say, Stephen, what you've done is wrong. And unfortunately, people don't say that enough to priests. And so we can get away with a lot of nonsense. What are we doing to our world? It's not a sin to be wrong. It is a sin to continue to be unrepentant when we are wrong. And if we are not giving each other the opportunity of repenting with a one-on-one, and if there's a problem, then you go and get 1 or 2 others. You don't go on social media. You don't go to the courts. You deal with it as you can right now. Then you go to the church. Then you take it further. But how many of us, when we are wronged or we see something wrong, we don't ever go to the perpetrator of the person or the person who's doing the wrong? The first thing we do is talk to somebody else about it. The gospel is clear. That's not our duty. I wonder how many wrongs I have allowed to slip through, and how many times I criticize when I was called to put it right. I wonder how many times I've got frustrated with the corruption in the world when I've allowed the corruption within my own family, within my own church, to go unchallenged. That is my responsibility. That's what the gospel tells us today. If a young boy, a first-generation Christian by the name of Isidore, in the 19th century can do this, why can't you and I today? Amen.